You have been introduced to various aspects of photography and photojournalism and have learnt about different kinds of photojournalism and branches of photography. Now that we have learnt about all these aspects of photojournalism, it's time to talk about the various career opportunities available to you in this field. We're going to speak to some photojournalists who are going to give you tips and advice on entering into the field of photojournalism. First, we will speak with Mr. Prashant Pandya, who is going to give some tips to all the learners on how to venture into the field of photojournalism.
There are a lot of young people who want to do take photography as a profession, and I have one very, very serious piece of advice to give on this. Please do not take up photography unless you're passionate about it, because it's a very, very tough profession, and the chances of failure are very high. And if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be able to last out or be completely frustrated. If you ask people, the most successful photographers, you'll find that they have had to struggle for years. I mean, doing photography is like trying to go to Bombay and becoming a hero in a Bollywood film. It's as bad as that. You will face a lot of trouble and a lot of grief, and only a few people survive. So do not take it up until you're passionate about it. But if you're passionate about it, be ready for a roller coaster ride and a beautiful ride. Teach yourself. Even if you were going to a photography course or a photojournalism course, it is very important to teach yourself at the same time, because the course will offer you a lot of things, but in the end, it's only how much you are willing to imbibe is going to make a difference to you. Learn from older and famous photographers. Look at everyone's work. Very often, young photographers come to me and talk about, or when I've done interviews in photography schools, and you ask them, so what have you seen till now? And they'll tell you one or two names of photographers that they've looked at, and it's not enough. I mean, the history of photography and the number of great photographers is huge. So study that. Know what's been done. You cannot reinvent the wheel. Do not think that if you're taking a beautiful picture of the sunset, it's not been done 1 trillion times before. It's not as if you are the first. So study the work of other photographers. Educate yourself, like I said. And finally, mastering all the techniques, technology, all those are important. But finally, I'll come back to something very basic, In photography, we always talk about going and taking photographs. You take a photograph. Now, that's common parlance, common term that you use, taking photographs. But pause and think about what it means to take a photograph. Because taking is the act of taking something. It's an exploitative act. It is an act that sometimes is not based on an equalness of the position of you and the society itself, or what you're photographing. A lot of photographers, there's a lot of writing about this, and a lot of ethical consideration about whether one should call it, say, taking photographs, shooting photographs is okay, or making photographs. And I would say maybe one should not get into the semantics of it, but think about how you make photographs. Are you taking away, or are you giving something? So you may not change your language. It may be a good idea to also change your language. But even if you don't, think about what you're doing, how you're doing it. So great photographs and great photographers give to society. They don't take from them. They actually give back to society. And that, I think, is my most important tip that I can give to a young photographer starting out.
As you've heard Mr. Prashant Pandya, passion is the most important quality to have if you want to be a photojournalist. If you have the interest, then you can go very far. It is extremely important that we have the attitude of learning throughout our life. And if we continue learning, we will surely expand our horizons and be able to do better and better. We must also remember, as Prashant has told us, that we don't take photographs, we must make photographs. We will continue in the next video.